Hey y'all, I said I'd come back live if I found anything else, so I'm going to give a couple of minutes for a couple of you guys to get in here. Just seen this, so I figured I'd come live.
And I am the sheriff of Nevada County. It's important to know this is an ongoing incident and some facts do change. So this is the information that we have at the time. A clear example of that is just as we were going through our investigation last night, knowing some of the numbers have changed on who we've been looking for. So at 11:30 yesterday on February 17th, our dispatch center, we have a regional dispatch center here in Nevada County, received a 911 call reporting of the avalanche in the Castle Peak area of Nevada County. Castle Peak is north of Interstate 80, right there at the Donner Summit, heading into Truckee. It's a very remote, rugged area.
Does anyone know when this started? I guess we can go back to 19 hours ago.
I just built a budgeting app.
What? How?
Base 44. Look, it pulls
Y'all, while
all our
I'm over here,
expenses
I
into one
can't see
place.
anything going on in chat. So if you are messaging or saying
We begin
something,
with that breaking news in the Sierra where multiple skiers are missing following an avalanche in the Sierra. This is a look at Highway 80 near the Castle Peak area of Nevada County. The sheriff's office tells us it happened at around 11:30 this morning. Multiple backcountry skiers are believed to be missing. We are working to find out more, and of course, we'll bring you updates as more information becomes available. This morning, the Sierra Avalanche Center issued an avalanche warning for areas including Truckee, Lake Tahoe, and areas just south of the lake.
okay.
The surviving guide was a male.
Yeah, the one man was a guy.
Correct. Correct. Thank you. Sir.
Could you provide more information on the one person that is still unaccounted for? Was it a man? Was it a woman? Is there any chance they could potentially still be alive, or at this point, are they potentially presumed dead?
Presumed deceased, just based on the totality. The statements of the group was together. And again, the conditions, I wasn't on the scene with them last night, but I've seen some of the documentation, pretty horrific. They were able to locate 8, and then the snowcat was ready to go. So everybody got loaded up and brought down the mountain. Again, took several hours to get from the snowcat back down to the trailhead, where we met with some ambulances from Truckee Fire to get the injured to the hospital, and the other folks got some quick statements. But again, this is an ongoing investigation, and we're going to be getting a lot more of those detailed statements as the days move forward.
So just to clarify, did that mean that would be 9 people that would have died in this incident?
Correct.
Facebook.
Yeah, we don't have any more press conferences scheduled. We would have put that out. But our public information officer is Ashley Quadros. She's the one that started our conference today. She can put out her information if you haven't already received that information. I'm sure several of you are here today because you've been in contact with the office. And as soon as we get any updated information, again, we'll be having those conversations with the family. And then we'll be reporting out the information for you all.
Just to clarify, were the SOS signals, I think Rusty, you mentioned they were sort of like iPhone SOS communication. Is that what the 6 used, or did they use an avalanche beacon per se? And for the lay people, can you describe the differences in the communication tactics?
If you're putting off selling your work because most platforms overcomplicate it, stop scrolling.
I realized that Etsy doesn't actually let me own my own shop. It cuts into my profits, and there's no real store customization to show off my brand or my personality.
Big Cartel just made sense. It's an independent e-commerce platform that actually supports small creators like me.
I honestly still can't believe how easy it was. All I had to do was pick a template, add my products, do some basic setup, and that was it. My store feels totally customized to my taste, but they made it super simple. And it was live before my morning coffee got cold.
So if you want to take control of your business, get signed up on Big Cartel. It's fast, it's simple, and you will definitely thank yourself later.
In your iPhone and texting back and forth, or would you recommend that anybody who does chance going out in the backcountry?
I really am not in a position to recommend anything on it, but I think, these devices are very readily available. And, I think if you're going to be in the backcountry, it'd probably be wise to have one of those.
Is there anybody up there who was part of the rescue mission yesterday? And would they be able to tell us a little bit more about what they see out there and what they hear out there?
Yeah, based on the conditions at the scene up there, there is no rescuers or first responders in the area. They all came off the mountain late last night with the 6 that we rescued.
Oh, I mean, up there, right here, in the press conference.
Gotcha. No, these were all incident commanders from our location here. A lot of the incident commanders that were there last night went back up today so that they could be there. Again, looking at the conditions, looking at the forecast, looking at how much snow did come down, talking with the Sierra Avalanche Center to see truly it still is a very high, they list it as a very high danger. And making those decisions going forward is going to be based off of safety to the responders.
Is there a command post that will be set up going forward until the remaining 9 people are recovered?
Yeah, we started last night at the Boreal Ski Resort parking lot. I believe we've moved to the Truckee substation. Yeah, our Truckee substation is right on Donner Pass Road, where we have the sheriff's office station. So it's in downtown Truckee.
One question about the avalanche generally, not about the actual investigation. I know you directed us to the Sierra Avalanche Center. This was listed on the destructive force scale as a D2.5. I know a D2 is it could bury and kill a person. D3 could bury, destroy a house. What does a 2.5 mean exactly? Would you be able to answer that?
So it's in between the two effectively. It can cause loss of life, but it's not as big as the 3. Sorry, don't have any more information.
Is it significantly powerful? Is it unusual, or could you give us some broader context of how frequently we see an avalanche of this power?
Unfortunately, while the Avalanche Center is hosted, I'm not an avalanche expert myself, so I'd be guessing. Thanks.
So we'll just take one or two more questions. And also just to clarify, as we've talked about all the individuals involved in that, since there's been a lot of back and forth on guests versus guides, I just want to clarify the people genders again, just one more time to mitigate any confusion.
All right, you've been watching an update from Nevada and Placer County officials talking about this search and rescue effort for 9 skiers that were missing in the backcountry near Castle Peak after an avalanche yesterday. This search has turned to a true tragedy. 8 people confirmed dead, 1 other person missing, but also presumed dead at this point. But just some devastating details for that family and for these rescuers that spent all night in really horrific conditions. They said extreme weather conditions is an understatement. James Torres is here. He's been on the story all morning and has been watching this news conference with me. James, this was really a worst case scenario and what we just learned, and also more devastating details about who these people are.
Yeah, and somewhat confusing details too. When you have a group of 15 people, that's the basis of this story here. A lot of numbers get thrown around, and the sheriff's office, the different sheriff's offices that we heard from, Placer County, Nevada County as well, tried their best, I think, really to clarify the situation that lied ahead of them. It was 15 skiers, a group of guides and guests who were under this organization, this business, Blackbird Mountain Guides. They were all hiking to this area, to this hut through skis, something that many experienced skiers do, something that even the sheriff, Shannon Moon of Nevada County, says that she does herself. They were headed back to the trailhead after a 3-day trip. And as you mentioned, an absolute worst case scenario. 15 total people, 9 women, 6 men, only 6 survivors of this trip. As you mentioned, 8 confirmed dead, 1 presumed dead. That body, they still not yet recovered. In fact, all 9 bodies, they've not yet recovered. They found the 8 people that they've now confirmed deceased. And when they found them, when they found the 6 people who had survived, they said they were able to locate them through avalanche beacons, which are these tiny little frequency radios that signals off an emergency when it happens. There was iPhone SOSs that were dispatched as well that helped some of these crews locate those survivors. They say when they found those 6 survivors, they had taken shelter. They had worked on trying to keep each other warm. They had also found 3 deceased of their own party, of their own group. 2 of those people could not walk. 2 of the survivors could not walk. They loaded them onto snowcats. It took them several hours to get back to the trailhead, and they flew 2 people to a hospital. Both are expected to survive. 1 was released last night. 1 is expected to be released today.
And another detail, 1 of the victims that died in this is believed to be the spouse of someone that works for the Tahoe Nordic Rescue Volunteer Group. You did a little bit of research on them. They were actually out there searching.
Yeah, so all of this under the investigation and the work of the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. They called in mutual aid from local sheriff's agencies. That's why you heard the sheriff from Placer County speak. They also have this really good partnership with the Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue teams. They're a nonprofit, all volunteer group. So they help these local law enforcement agencies with these search and rescue groups. And in this specific case, they provided 2 snowcats, 2 snowmobiles, and 28 people, all volunteers who went out late in the night last night in some very terrible conditions, not just cold, but the terrain as well. The sheriff, Sheriff Moon of Nevada County, had described that area as a completely ungroomed. So it's not like it's a resort that keeps an eye on it and takes care of it and makes it safe for all skiers to enjoy. This is backcountry, so it's not touched by any maintenance crews or, as she mentioned, not groomed. So it took these crews, the volunteer work of these crews, in some really terrible conditions just to find these survivors. And she mentioned it when it's a little more detailed too. They had the option to not go because they knew how dangerous these conditions were. But when they knew that there were 6, potentially some survivors, these volunteers jumped into action, went out on these snowcats, located the 6 people who are still alive, and also found the bodies of at least 8 of the 9 survivors.
We talked about those extreme weather
those
conditions.
Deceased,
those deceased. We want to bring in meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez. Roberta, they talked about another storm coming into the Sierra tonight. We knew conditions. We spoke to an expert earlier today who said that these were nearly blizzard conditions. It is very, very bad out there.
First off, let's back up a bit here, Greg, because we did have that avalanche watch go into effect on Sunday. Then as conditions deteriorated by Monday morning, it was a full avalanche warning in effect until this morning. And because of the dire conditions, we do still have an avalanche warning in effect now extended through tomorrow morning. This encompasses the entire central Sierra Nevada area between Yuba Pass, which basically is around Highway 49 to Ebbets Pass, Highway 4, and this does include the greater Lake Tahoe area. I just updated the snow totals since Monday. Sugar Bowl, 57 inches. You could see Palisades at 65, Heavenly at 50, and North Star 55. So basically, we've had 5.5 feet of dry snow. This isn't Sierra cement. This is dry snow on top of a very poor base. And when that happens, you have a lot of give, a lot of slide. So the bottom line is, yes, there's more snow to come, especially by later tonight. Now, overnight, we will see a winter weather advisory go into effect for the greater Lake Tahoe area from Thursday morning, 4 a.m. to Thursday, 10 p.m. We did have a winter weather warning in effect for today until 10 p.m. That was allowed to expire early. It's intermittent snow showers throughout the day today, breezy winds to 40 miles per hour. At the Tahoe Basin, we can anticipate another foot of snow on top of the 3 feet that has already accumulated. And the higher elevations, we're talking anywhere 7,000, 8,000 feet, even 9,000 feet at Castle Peak. Another 2 feet of snow is possible. So this is all associated with a cold front blasting the Bay Area all the way into Southern California, one of the most potent storms in the past 3 years. Now, we do have a third system on tap ready to go. Right now, as you take a look at the greater Lake Tahoe area, it's intermittent snow showers that are accumulating there and very cold air mass as well. Overnight lows in the Castle Peak area last night was near 9 degrees. Today, a high temperature near 26, but still our overnight lows are pretty chilly. Now, take a look at this futurecast and watch for the gray area in the Tahoe area. That's a dumping of more snow overnight tonight through your Thursday at high noon, and then a bit of a break for Friday and Saturday. And look out over the ocean. That's more rain for the Bay Area by Sunday evening, and then certainly more snow, sleet, and rain for the greater Lake Tahoe area as the temperatures do climb. So your snow forecast by tonight, 4 more inches in the Truckee area, which is pretty close to the Castle Peak area, pretty much like a 30-minute drive there, about 15, 16 miles. And then we go into your Thursday at this time, an additional 7 inches. So it's stacking up. By Friday, 12 inches. So that's a foot more of snow. Currently in the Castle Peak area, well, first off, we have Blue Canyon at 22 degrees and South Lake Tahoe at 20 degrees. Truckee is at 23. So the temperature is a little bit more mild today. This is why they did allow that winter storm warning to expire early. So today, breezy and cold, 1 to 3 more inches of snow at lake level and all the way into the Castle Peak area, then 8 more inches on your Thursday. Look at those overnight lows, 2 and 9 degrees. So again, the Sierra snow, the avalanche warning is in effect for your day today all the way through tomorrow at 5:15. Gentlemen?
Thank you. And that is something those experts and those officials are watching because, as they say, this turns from a rescue to a recovery operation. They are watching that fresh storm that is set to come in and drop more snow as they look to recover those bodies of the decedents that they have been able to find. And they said they left avalanche poles, they left those beacons on, but obviously they don't want to put anyone in any more danger. They described that avalanche that hit yesterday, James, as a football field size avalanche that fell in that area near Castle Peak that Roberta was talking about. And certainly the risk lies that there could be additional avalanches because things are so unsettled up there and the conditions are so bad with the snowfall and the wind and what has already transpired there.
They talked about that.
I bet you would,
collapse
Arctic.
that led to that avalanche. 3 feet of snow has already been restocked. So as you mentioned, of course, they're watching the conditions. And they're watching the potential and the danger of another avalanche, not just for their search crews, but for anyone planning to do any form of skiing or backcountry skiing as well. This is their time to say, don't do it. You do not need to be out on those parts of the hill, parts of the resorts. In fact, they went as far to say that some of the resources yesterday in those search and rescue missions, search and recovery, we now know, some of those resources had to be pulled because they were They got calls for other people who were stuck and needed some of those search and rescues as well. So they're asking you, pleading with you, because they still have this mission to continue and complete. Do not call for any resources. Do not put yourself in a position to call for resources, because that just damages kind of everyone in every mission that they have to perform.
Yeah, they're urging people not to come to the Sierra right now. So to recap from you what we heard from Nevada County and Placer County officials in the last hour, that this search that began yesterday for 9 skiers that were missing in the Sierra backcountry near Castle Peak. 8 people have been found deceased. 1 person is presumed dead, but the search continues. 6 people were rescued last night as part of that group of 15. There were 11 guests and 4 guides that were part of this backcountry skiing expedition from the group that you talked about there, James.
Yeah, part of the Blackbird Mountain Guides. They say they are cooperating with the sheriff's office as they continue their investigation. A little bit more about those involved. 9 women, 6 men make up those 15 people who were there, ages between 30 and 55 years old.
Just devastating update from the Sierra, and certainly a tragedy, and our thoughts are with those families as they learn the news. We are going to take a break here on KTVU and Fox Local. We will be back on the other side of this with more coverage of this breaking news. Stay with us.
Hey, BHB, that's where you need to go is Lake Tahoe. They have missing skiers. There's something you can go protest, the snow. I think most of us would be okay with you protesting the snow at this point. Full scorn.
And some new information tonight coming in about that backcountry group of skiers caught in a Sierra avalanche earlier today. Nevada County deputies now say that 15 people, not 16, were part of that group. Now, 6 have been rescued. The 9 others are still missing tonight. Thanks for being with us at 11. I'm Gulston Dar.
And I'm Edie Lambert. Tonight, we're hearing from the company that took the group out. The sheriff's office says the avalanche was reported near the Castle Peak area at around 11:30 this morning. KCRA 3's Curtis Ming is here now. What have you been able to learn about the search?
Well, it's now been 11 and a half hours, and it took hours for rescuers to reach those 6 survivors in this brutal winter weather. And some of them were hurt. We learned within the past 20 minutes, the sheriff's office confirmed 2 are now in the hospital. The sheriff's office also now saying it wasn't 16 people as initially reported, but 15. The company that hosted that backcountry trip is Blackbird Mountain Guides. The company earlier today confirmed 4 guides were leading this group and returning from a 3-day backcountry ski trip near Castle Peak, that is north of I-80. They were staying at the Frog Lake Huts. This morning, the company says the group was trying to get back to a trailhead when that avalanche happened at around 11:30. The backcountry conditions were brutal today. An avalanche warning was in place, which raises the question, why were they out there? Video from the Nevada County Sheriff's Office shows crews organizing their response at 2 ski resorts. We spoke with a captain with the Sheriff's Office who said the survivors at the avalanche site had emergency beacons and they were communicating.
There's no quick way for them to come out, so they're having to wait there. You know, and like I said, they have emergency beacons, some of them that communicate, via text. So we're in contact with them and doing our best to get in there.
And tonight we are hearing from Blackbird Mountain Guides. The company guiding this trip says the group was in the process of returning to the trailhead at the conclusion of a 3-day trip when the incident occurred, adding the leadership team at Blackbird Mountain Guides is working in full coordination with the Nevada County Sheriff's Office and Nevada County Search and Rescue to support the ongoing rescue operation. That company also says they are in contact with the emergency contacts of those who are missing and the 6 who are now rescued. But tonight, 9 skiers remain missing in this avalanche. The Nevada Sheriff's Office is planning a news conference for tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock.
And what we were looking for maybe earlier is finally posted?
Planning to publish your book? You could reach 3 billion more readers. If you've written a book and you're thinking about publishing,
the search for Nancy Guthrie has gone international. We have learned the FBI has told federal Mexican law enforcement to tell various police agencies to be on the lookout for Nancy and her kidnapper. Now, our law enforcement sources are telling us that it is possible they believe that Nancy was taken across the border, but they doubt if she is across the border that it happened directly after the kidnapping. We're told that because we know now that the FBI checked cameras, Border Patrol cameras, and also other various electronic devices. We are asked not to be specific about that, and they have come up dry. There is nothing showing any movement across the border where they suspect Nancy Guthrie was in that car. Now, that said, we're told that she could have been taken at some point after the kidnapping, a day or so later or 2 days later. They just don't know. And obviously, there is a way to get across the border undetected. But right now, they have put the word out, and so far, no luck. There is something else. TMZ obtained another ransom note today. This is a highly sophisticated demand involving a form of crypto, not Bitcoin. Now, it is demanding roughly the same amount as the demand letter we received, shortly after the kidnapping, the $6 million demand. It's not exactly that, but it's close to that. The demand graphically describes the consequences if the demand is not met. It also involves the media, saying that the media essentially becomes a go-between, a trigger, if you will, for getting this ransom money. We have been asked not to be specific about any of that beyond what we've just said. We have forwarded this on to the FBI, and they are looking into it. The email that we received today does not have the same crypto account as the crypto account in that first ransom letter that we received. A couple of other things. We told you yesterday that the FBI went around to various gun stores in the Tucson area with a list of names, trying to see if anybody on that list bought a gun at any of these shops. We were told, and we told you this yesterday, that the list was created by the people who had purchased a holster similar to the one that the kidnapper was wearing. The FBI had gone to Walmart and other retailers, created this list. We are told that this did not bear fruit, that so far it turned up nothing, that there was no match here of somebody buying a gun and buying that holster, at least from that list. Couple of other things. The FBI team, there is a team that is working on just finding people who have bought items similar to the ones the kidnapper is wearing. They actually have a team contacting Walmart and other retailers, and their focus is finding matches, people who have bought more than one of these items, a backpack, a jacket, a holster, or anything else. Again, we are told that so far they do not have any real leads.
Well, they bought it online.
So
You
the
aren't
bottom
going to have
line,
any
and
leads
this
like
is a
that.
quote from
I don't
a
know.
law enforcement source, we are shaking the trees looking for clues. So they are doing everything they can. There's one other thing that I was asked to mention, and that is something I know to be true. The FBI is really serious that anybody who is trying to get money from the Guthrie family with a phony demand letter is going to spend, as it was put to me, a long, long time in federal prison. The FBI does not mess around with things like that, and they are laser focused to find both the kidnapper and people who are exploiting the Guthrie family.
Oh,
We're going to show you 13 mind-blowing use cases for creators using the new AI Workspace 2.0 from GenSpark, Silicon Valley's first AI agent unicorn, so you can make better films and content, all while automating the tasks you don't want to do. Let's go. One subscription to GenSpark gives you access to all the top.
sorry, y'all. I'm sitting here and thinking to myself that we already heard this. Oh, hold up. Oh, hold up. And he can refresh this.
Yeah, just like the other guy that walked out the other day. The note that was left outside of the door, Nancy's door, the Adult Protective Services. So he said, SF said, yesterday the Pima County told multiple media. I don't know. What do you have today? I'm not sure. Regarding cars, Guthrie family and spouses cleared. Cars are a link to genetic genealogy to focus on a match.
Oh, we got a new guy with a sign. See the sign guy. Got a giant sign here. Giant, tall person with a sign.
We already went over big guy, sign guy.
Oh, okay.
So I went too far back.
Has anyone looked at
Did you guys see the white truck?
After the kidnapping, the $6 million demand. It's not exactly that, but it's close to.
Can you make the turn?
Items, you know, a backpack, a jacket, a holster, or anything else. Again, we are told that so far they do not have any real lead.
I feel like he's giving us.
Got the trash people here. Audacity has entered the chat. It says
The midnight fell burning on noon to midnight guy. But nothing.
No activity anywhere.
No activity anywhere. I want to get that parking.
Get that parking spot. Get it.
I'll be right back.
What I got.
I know it's prime. Man.
Prime
I
real
love
estate
it
right here. Okay. Prime real estate.
Carlos speaks out, man. Carlos.
You already heard Carlos
Looks like
speak
he's
out.
lawyered up.
I've heard this now 3 times. Because after I left here, I went.
And I recently drew up a chart on Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. I saw on YouTube that you have been checking out locations for Nancy. I wanted to give you one important location to give an address. It's not far from Nancy's home, due west, near Pima Wash. This property is a large abandoned house that has all sorts of outbuildings on a camper site. I believe it's an important area to investigate. Another location is the Loop Trail off North Campbell Street. This address that she sent, it is like really, really close by, and it looks interesting. It does look abandoned. I'm gonna send it to him because I think I'm gonna tell him if they. Let me see how far it is. It's less than 5 minutes. Oh, it's 8 minutes. It's 3 miles away. If they get bored, they could check out this abandoned property because the abandoned property looks kind of interesting to me, and it might make a little change of scenery for the people watching them. You know, just to change it up a little bit. He should be cautious, walking on those. It says the person said abandoned, but you just got to be careful. People, what are you doing here? I'll send it to him. See, maybe he'll one day. I would have chose exploring with Jim to go check it out, but he's, I think, by the border.
Audacity has entered the chat. It says, elderly lady in Texas killed by a hitman who went to the wrong address. Nothing made sense. Huge miracle they solved it. Minus smartphones and Ring cameras in 2006.
The way you see an idea in your mind and shape it into something that could only come from you. This is how website creation should be. Wix Harmony, the new way to create.
Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. Hungry Root is kind of like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist. They take care of the weekly groceries and recommend healthy, high-quality, nutritious food, tailored to your taste, nutrition preferences, and health goals. They have great options for the whole family with healthy groceries like smoothies, kid snacks, sweets, ready-to-eat meals, salad kits, and even supplements.
Sorry about
Root,
that,
thanks
y'all.
for
I do
always nailing my
apologize. I'm horrible on this end somehow.
Grew up at Nancy's house and abandoned. Found an abandoned outside area. Maybe the house was torn down. I don't know what that looks like over there. Let's see if that's me get a 3D view. But it doesn't let me do that. Good job out the road.
So here's one here. It's right here.
Yes, there it is.
Carlos.
Carlito.
Carlos has an attorney. Remember this guy? He was first person detained down there in Rio Rico. His attorney's with him, and they're demanding more or less the sheriff and authorities to clear his name because just too many people are coming around his house sleuthing. He wants his name publicly cleared, and now he has an attorney. He wants his name cleared. He's demanding. Maybe since the fact that he has an attorney, he might be going after somebody civilly. Civil.
Oh, that's
lawsuits
what I come
incoming
back for. Arctic. Yes, I could imagine.
for what they did.
Because
Obviously,
remember, we're in hunting country. You know what I mean?
we just basically scooped him up at a
And
traffic stop,
with that being said,
detained him for multiple hours, had a warrant,
you know,
went in his
hunters
house,
buy it.
did some damage to his house, only for them to release him. He wants the sheriff and authorities to clear his name. Because he says, since that incident happened, people are coming around his house, taking pictures, asking questions, thinking he's involved in some way, shape, or form. What do you think? Does he have a lawsuit, successful lawsuit for what happened to him? Or
but here's the other thing.
did they have
In Tucson, they now have
did.
the backpacks behind a glass. And we did find out that the jacket he's wearing came from Walmart, and it was on the clearance.
check into Kayla's husband?
And they went and found that
Elizabeth
backpack at
is
Walmart.
Petrie.
So we know at least two of the three things that we're talking about right this second came from Walmart. You know what I mean?
Trash truck.
You got to ask how many of those masks they sell during the winter months up there, which technically right now is the winter months in Tucson. Even
Turns on TMZ's show.
it's going to be a little bit more cooler. It's going to be wet. It's going to be nasty. And then you got monsoon season coming up in July. Oh, and Arctic. So sometime in June of 2000 and
saying Nick Fuentes got swatted last night, apparently.
27. No. I think we decided on May. So it would be 2028. There might be a wedding at the fire department.
Yeah, I was just
I guess he got
informed
swatted.
that the sheriff is now working with A&E.
He's
on a
arguing with me over
reality
what my
series
dress
called
has to
Desert
be.
Law. Desert Law? Military and leadership. That follows A&E reality crime series that follows the Pima County Sheriff's Department in Arizona. The 10-episode show highlights the high-intensity nightly work. Is that done or is that in 2026?
So they recorded it. I don't know when. I think at the end of last year is when they recorded it, and then now they're playing it.
Huh. About time.
I haven't told anybody yet.
The time. You know, you get a docu-series.
I've kind of kept it on the down low, but
I mean, he's getting all the exposure right now from this.
I don't think you'd have got married this time, so I wouldn't have been pushing it.
Thank you. The E4E 9S. What's all those numbers?
I thought it was a little soon, but you know.
Oh, somebody pulling right up.
Whoa. Who's this?
The heck? Watch be her getting out of the car. I would die.
Two ladies.
Whoa.
I've never heard of this fucker before.
Well, they think you could just do a 3-point turn in the driveway or what?
Maybe they wanted to get out of the way from the trash truck.
Whoa.
That's what it looks like. I saw two ladies.
I think we would have all shit if Nancy would have got out of that vehicle.
You never know, right? Somebody can
I think we would have all died of a heart attack right then and there and went, holy shit.
He's pulling up into the driveway. Awesome.
Took off like nothing.
Two ladies.
Oh, this will be the third and final, one way or another. If I wind up single for the rest of my life or if it actually works. Because Aspen told me not to let him go.
Backed out, came in and backed out. Just backed out, came in and backed out. It was the truck. She wanted to get out of the way and let the truck pass. That's what it looked like. Had to be.
Someone searched for Nancy Guthrie's address and her famous daughter's salary before the Today Show mother vanished on Google data shows.
I want to show you guys Carlos's interview.
Uh-oh.
We have Carlos's interview.
God, you pulled that up. I was trying to do that earlier.
Here. We'll sit in my car. We'll listen to Carlos.
And Chris, if that's you, the other one in chat, you can talk. Arik, you won't fight you, neither will Paula. You know that.
Carlos speaks with his attorney. Now, this is the guy's house at Rio Rico. I'm going to hold up the phone.
Oh, Jiminy's.
And we'll listen in and get it all ready. So this is about 12 minutes, but let's listen.
So far to listen.
I don't think he's involved in any way, shape, or form.
I skipped Carlos.
So why did they come at him? This is the first time hearing this. Carlos, hopefully we can see it okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me close this up. Carlos time.
So Carlos, we spoke, I guess it was late last.
Oh. Gonna move.
Ryan it.
I got two things to show you guys. Okay, hold on.
Pings, cell phone pings. Pings got him this way.
Okay, so I have two things that I gotta talk about. Okay. Okay, I got two things. They're talking about the search. Yeah, okay. Fox News Digital, and I'm making a post right now on Facebook. Fox News Digital posted this article. It says an internet user appears to have searched Nancy Guthrie's home address in the weeks prior to her suspected abduction, Google Trends shows. Last week, the FBI released a description. We know that. Google Trends records show that there was one search for Guthrie's address in the Catalina foothills between June 21st and June 28, 2025, by someone in Arizona. The address was once again searched on January 11th, 2026. The January 11th date also surfaced in a message on the Ring camera app posted on February 12th, asking neighbors to share video from between 9 p.m. and midnight that day, as well as on the evening of January 31st. PCSD captain replied to the post asking users to look for verified posts from the department when submitting when submitting tips. Officially, investigators are seeking home security video recorded within 2 miles of Guthrie's home between January 1st and February 2nd. There were also two separate Google image searches for Nancy's address in Arizona. One sometime between March 1st and March 8th.
Oh shit, why come in here?
25.
Fudge.
And the other between November 30th and December 1st, 2025, specifically looking for images or a map of the home.
Let's go back.
Baby, we gotta make that
Has
money.
there been any conversation?
Google Trends records show that there was one search for Guthrie's address in the Catalina foothills between June 21st and June 28, 2025, by someone in Arizona. The address was once again searched on January 11th, 2026. The January 11th date also surfaced in a message on the Ring camera app posted on February 12th, asking neighbors to share video from between 9 p.m. and midnight that day, as well as on the evening of January 31st. PCSD captain replied to the post asking users to look for verified posts from the department when submitting when submitting tips. Officially, investigators are seeking home security video recorded within 2 miles of Guthrie's home between January 1st and February 2nd. There were also two separate Google image searches for Nancy's address in Arizona. One was sometime between March 1st and March 8th, 2025, and the other between November 30th and December 1st, 2025, specifically looking for images or a map of the home. In addition to the address, in the days leading up to Nancy's disappearance, Savannah Guthrie's salary was searched from Tucson sometime between December 13th and December 20th, 2025. Could it be something or could it be nothing?
Live outside the scene.
Looking curious
here.
That was just
We're gonna have
crazy.
to go to Mexico,
It
maybe.
was gangs, legendary, man.
Bob told us that they were going to test the alien craft that night.
Once you pop up randomly, talking about, yo, you forgot me. When the views are up, they all pop around. Yo, where you been? I haven't seen you. I've been here, man, almost every day, every other day, every 2-3 days, bro. Where you been? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Pippin? The Google search is interesting. I don't know. I guess it could be something. Or it could be nothing. Or somebody looking into, are they able to look into who searched that? Can they actually track that down? Google Trends, Google data? Might have to read it again. We're gonna need somebody to chart it up. That will lead to an IP address that can be tracked. Oh, it's kind of windy over there. Windy. Let's turn it down a little bit. America's grandmother, or America's mother. Some people have said this is America's grandmother. Also, we gotta check out how's Jim doing today? Sled, legendary CEO. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. We gotta check on Jim. So I did watch part of one of his videos last night, and he said that he has a lot of tips, a lot of locations that was sent to him, and that he's mapping it out. He's mapping it out, and then he's gonna, I guess once he's set up, he's gonna stream.
Something interesting reported by Michael Ruiz with Fox News. Someone searched for Nancy Guthrie's address and her famous daughter's salary.
Oh shit!
Before the Today Show host's mother vanished. Google data shows it's not clear that the searchers are connected
That's new,
to
guys.
one another or to her suspected abduction. But the timing of one search, January 11th, aligns with the time frame specified in a Ring app post from a neighbor calling on locals to turn in video taken that evening between 9 p.m. and midnight. Ooh.
That's new.
Someone searched for Nancy Guthrie's address and her famous daughter's salary before the Today's Post mother vanished. Google data shows. And the search happened on January 11th, the same time they were telling people to search their cameras around. January 11th. Now, where is this coming from? Let's see. Fox News goes on to say, internet users searched for Nancy Guthrie's address and daughter's salary before Today's Post mother vanished. Google data shows searches for Savannah Guthrie's mother's home and the NBC anchor's salary occurred weeks before the kidnapping. It's coming from Google Trends. An internet user appeared to have searched the
People have been
address of
talking about
Google
this for a
Trends.
while, but the mainstream just reported on it.
Google Trends records show that there was one search for Guthrie's address in the Catalina foothills between June 21st and June 28th, 2025 by someone in Arizona. The address was searched again once in January 11th, 2026.
This could be the big
The January
clue.
11th data also surfaced in a message on the
How to use the
Ring
restroom.
app posted on February 12th, asking neighbors to share video from between 9 p.m. and midnight that day, as well as on the evening of January 31st. Well, that makes it interesting. What do you think? Google Trends, is that valid? And then also in June. Google Trends. Google Trends. Nancy's address searched. Google Trends. Somebody searching for Nancy and Meth. Or from around here in Arizona, taking her to Mexico, maybe. Is Google Trends reliable? Hello. Warm out here today. Is this considered nice? Is this considered nice? Warm out here.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, 'cause usually it's like 100.
You're not from around here?
No, I'm from Florida. You guys be safe.
Dad, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing. I go forever. Okay. You just let me out.
Yeah, my grandpa.
Mexico. They're gonna have to rescue Nancy from Mexico? Mexico. Your thoughts on Mexico? E-commerce owner here, Catherine, says, Catherine M, 711. E-commerce owner here. Google data is solid and can tell you city, state of search. Keep up the good work. E-commerce owner here. January 11th seems like that's a key date. That kind of coincides with what the neighbors were informed to talk about surveillance footage in this area. Did the person come around here that time?
Return Nancy safe and sound. Yeah, and Nancy, by the way, has been known to come to this coffee shop. Savannah, seen here a lot. And Terry, if you had to describe the impact on this community in one word, how would you do it?
Scared. Scared. People are worried about their safety. A lot of elderly people live in this area by themselves, like Mrs. Guthrie. And people are a little nervous.
And, you know, another resident told me that this is a community where people really don't lock their doors.
Did not before. But a lot of people are locking their doors now. They didn't before.
And I'm just going to sneak over here because in this exclusive coffee group, Mary is among the only females. Mary, how do you feel about this? What are your thoughts on this now that we're 18 days that Nancy's been missing?
Well, it's such a scary incident, and I've lived in this community for a long time, raised my children here, and I've always felt safe and secure. And suddenly that has gone away, and now I'm being more vigilant about my surroundings and locking my doors. And I truly, I empathize with her family. I think it's awful. I can't imagine having to live through this and not knowing where my mother was. That's just unthinkable to me.
It sure is. And
have you ever recorded a remote podcast and one moment your guest is dropping absolute gold and then the next
Well, everybody's getting a little nervous because it's extending the time, not a week, 3, 4, 5. And it's difficult because people, when I talk to them, they say, you know, what did the sheriff say this? What did the FBI say that? And they're confused.
Yeah, so a lot of questions here, but as you can see, this group that gathers every morning continuing to weigh in on really how it's impacted their community, tight knit. Something like this really doesn't happen here. And now they hope Nancy will come home. LJ, back to you.
I'll hope that. All right, thanks, Griff.
One even more Fox News. Scared. Residents scared around here at the coffee shop. Local coffee shop. Yeah. Scared.
Welcome in, welcome in. Y'all, there's nothing's going on outside of Nancy's. I'm just going to put the same 3 project milk carton photos up. I just ran across this accidentally. It popped up on my X feed. So I figured I'd share them. But I'm going to exit out again. Well, hang on. I want to go see if there's any updates on the California disaster currently going on. I'm not seeing anything new. Mother.
A quick search and locate those victims via their avalanche beacons. And I actually have mine on right now. I can show you what we're talking about because there was some confusion during the press conference about what a beacon is. And this is mine right here. It's strapped to my body under my jacket. So if something were to happen to me and my jacket got ripped off, this would still be attached to my lowest layer on me. So here, I'm currently in a receive mode, as all of us would be, or in send mode. And so if you, Lisa, were to be buried, I would switch mine to search, and my buddy whose house I'm staying at, his is currently transmitting, and that sound is now his beacon, and it's giving me a direction of where he is buried. And so using those devices, they were able to do a quick search for those 8, and that's why they were able to find them last night. But clearly their effort was to get the survivors out, and they can go back later and recover those victims. Now, of course, the transceiver could lose its batteries. So as you heard the sheriff say, they did mark them with avalanche probes so that they could be able to go back and locate those decedents. And they still have that 9th person to look for. So presumably their beacon is not working, or they were swept further down the mountain, and they'll just have to go back and do a more thorough search, which at that point could involve using just probes where stop me when you need to, Lisa, but I can continue to show you some of the other stuff.
No, keep
here.
going.
Okay, in my bag. So this is, again, standard gear that anybody would carry. So here's the handle to my shovel.
And they were all required to have these things that you're showing us, right? Okay.
Here's the shovel here, because if you were involved in a slide, you can't dig with your hands. The best you could use is a ski or a snowboard.
And is that is that strapped on your back?
It's in my back.
Okay, okay, got it.
Gear.
Okay.
And then this right here is the avalanche probe that you also heard them talk about.
Right.
So my probe is folded up, and you can quickly throw it out like that, pull the cable, and now it's locked in. And now I have a probe where you literally go out and you stick this in the snow, and the morbid task of hoping to find somebody by probing through the snow. And once you do locate somebody, then you go in with your shovel and work on that rescue and or recovery in this situation. So once they get back out there looking for that 9th person, if they did not have a beacon signal last night, it's likely going to be a team of people in a line just methodically probing in front of them looking for that 9th person. So again, at this point, because it's gone into a recovery and no longer a rescue, there's no need to put people into harm's way. The snow has continued to pile up overnight. Every night here that we've been up here, we've received at least an additional foot, if not 18 inches of new snow.
Wow.
And that's at this elevation. So you think of all that new snow on top of that persistent weak layer that we heard the Avalanche Forecast Office talking about, that is already further load on top of a weak layer. And at this point, the rescuers have already put themselves at risk. And at this point, they need to mitigate that risk and go in when the time is right.
Well, and Brian, when you talk about the weak layer, it's really like a sheet cake, right? Layers in a sheet cake. Sure. And especially if you have a weak layer above a heavier layer, we're getting all that new snow, the weak layer underneath can collapse. And when you add gale force winds that we had yesterday, that's just kind of what pushes it along, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
You know, that is very good. I like the sheet cake analogy. When snow falls at different temperatures, the snow crystals are different. They're distinctly different. They can be very sharp with pointy edges, or they can be very round edges, and those all bond in different ways. And so when you have a certain type of snow at a layer that hasn't bonded well with the layer below it, and then you put a bunch of weight on top of that, you know, like you said, it can either collapse or it can shear and leave what's called a crown. That's a large area where it breaks away from and goes sliding down the mountain. And in this case, as we heard, the initial observations were an avalanche the size of a football field, which is big. In the backcountry, we often see avalanches. In the ski resort, you can see the ones that they trigger. And generally, you don't see them that big. Very hard to get a reservation there. And these folks were making their way out. And what it appears is they were on the backside of Perry's Point when this slide came off. And whether it was a natural release or somebody on it, that'll all be under investigation.
And we heard them say someone saw the avalanche coming. They yelled avalanche, and you see, I'm just imagining an NFL football field of snow coming towards me. there's really no time to react or do anything, right, Brian? Or what would you do? What would you do, Brian, if you were there?
At that point, I would try to drop any gear I had and just start swimming. You want to try to get to the top of the layer of snow, or if you had a backpack that inflates like an airbag, that'll float you to the top. But it doesn't sound like that equipment was at least deployed at this point.
All right, guys, that's the latest on that. If anything comes up on Nancy Guthrie, I